Picture this, it's December 28th, 2025. Season 2 of TGL launches on a Sunday afternoon against NFL playoff football. 646,000 people tune in. That's 273,000 fewer than watched the Season 1 debut just a year earlier. A week later, Rory McIlroy, one of the sport's biggest stars, takes the virtual field on a Friday night. 354,000 viewers show up. That's a 66% drop from when Tiger played in week 2 of Season 1. Tiger Woods and Rory McIlroy just bet $500 million that technology could save golf's future. After one complete season and 3 matches into Season 2, here's what they've learned. The technology still doesn't work reliably. The audience only shows up when Tiger plays, and Tiger can't play anymore. Welcome back to TGL, tomorrow's golf league. The experiment isn't over, but the cracks are starting to show. Act 1, the vision. Let's rewind, August 24th, 2022. Tiger Woods and Rory McIlroy announced something revolutionary. Team golf, indoors with massive screens, rotating greens, and matches that last 2 hours instead of 5. They call their company TMRW Sports, pronounced tomorrow, because apparently spelling out tomorrow isn't futuristic enough, and they have a partner, Mike McCarley, a former NBC sports executive who spent 20 years figuring out what it takes to make sports entertaining on television. The pitch was simple. Golf is too slow, too long, too boring for younger audiences. So let's fix that. Shot clocks, teams with city affiliations, matches on Monday and Tuesday nights when there's nothing else competing. Oh, and the whole thing would happen in a custom-built arena in Palm Beach Gardens, Florida, with 1,500 screaming fans. McIlroy called it Golf Reimagined for the 21st Century, which is marketing speak for, we're trying to make golf less golfy. Here's the fascinating part. They weren't trying to compete with the PGA Tour, they partnered with them. The PGA Tour actually holds 18% equity in TGL. Tomorrow Sports holds 54%. Team owners get 18% and players get 10%. It's a true collaboration, assuming you believe corporations actually collaborate. And the money behind this? Legitimately impressive. Dynasty Equity and Connect Ventures led a Series A funding round that valued Tomorrow Sports at nearly $500 million in mid-2024, before they played a single season match. That's $500 million for an indoor golf league that didn't even exist yet. The investor list reads like a who's who of sports and entertainment. Steph Curry, Serena Williams, Shaq O'Neal, Kevin Durant, Shohei Ohtani, Mike Trout, Lewis Hamilton, and somehow Justin Bieber. But nothing says the future of golf like the Biebs throwing money at it. Act 2, the catastrophe. November 14th, 2023. 7 weeks before TGL's scheduled launch, a storm rolls through Palm Beach County. Not even a particularly nasty storm, just Florida being Florida. The SoFi Center, still under construction, loses power, the backup systems fail, and the temporarily supported dome, it deflates like a bouncy castle at the end of a kid's birthday party. When the sun came up, the photos went viral. A skeleton of steel beams, fabric hanging from the torn curtains, and an arena that looked less like the future of golf and more like a disaster movie set. Here's what's wild. Tiger called it a blessing in disguise. He actually said that, because the delay gave them more time to provide a better playing and viewing experience. That's athlete speak for, oh crap, we weren't ready anyway. They redesigned the entire structure, out with the supported dome thing that couldn't handle Florida weather, and in with insulated steel walls and a steel supported roof capable of withstanding a Category 5 hurricane. The original design could only handle a Category 4, because apparently in Florida, you need to plan for the apocalypse. The delay pushed everything back a full year, from January 2024 to January 2025, which meant an entire year of speculation, anticipation, and most importantly, uncertainty about whether this thing would actually happen. But here's where it gets a little worse. Act 3, the defections. Jon Rahm, Masters champion, world number 3, one of the 4 golfers to commit to TGL alongside Tiger, Rory, and Justin Thomas. November 2023, right around the time the dome collapsed, Rahm suddenly withdraws from TGL. His statement? He couldn't offer the level of commitment required, which in professional athlete transition means I got a better offer. That better offer? Live Golf, Saudi Arabia's breakaway league. Reports suggested he signed for $500 million. That's maybe $500 million to one golfer. Then, in January 2024, Terrell Hatton, another TGL signee, follows Rahm to Live. Contract worth maybe $60 million. Both players were supposed to be on the Boston Common Golf team alongside Rory McIlroy. Here's the thing about Live Golf. TGL has specifically positioned itself as PGA Tour friendly. Players could do both, but Live Golf is supposedly a direct competitor to the PGA Tour, and once you go to Live, you're banned from PGA Tour events. And TGL requires players to be in good standing with the PGA Tour, so Rahm and Hatton, gone. Hideki Matsuyama eventually replaced Hatton, but the damage was done. 2 marquee names, 2 major withdrawals, and suddenly TGL looked less inevitable and more fragile. Why did they leave? Money, obviously. But, and this is speculation, maybe they weren't fully convinced TGL would work. Or maybe Liv just made them an offer so ridiculous they couldn't refuse. When on one hand you're looking at cash, and on the other hand you're looking at equity and a startup league, maybe you take the cash. Act 4, the launch. January 7th, 2025. Finally, after years of planning, a collapsed roof, player defections, and more hype than any indoor golf league deserves, TGL debuts. The Bay Golf Club versus the New York Golf Club. No Tiger, no Rory. They saved Tiger's debut for week 2 to capitalize on NFL playoff promotion exposure. Smart marketing. Nearly 1 million people tuned in, 919,000 to be exact. The audience was younger than traditional PGA Tour broadcasts, a median age of 51.9 years compared to 65.9 for regular tour events. That's exactly what they wanted. The SoFi Center looked legitimately impressive. A 64-foot by 53-foot screen, a 22,475,000 square foot putting area, the green zone that rotates and adjusts between holes to match each hole's topography. I totally want one in my house. It has real grass hitting surfaces, real sand bunkers, and yes, even an active volcano on one virtual hole, because why not? The format, 15 holes, 9 holes of triples, 3-on-3 alternate shot, then 6 holes of singles head-to-head matches. But each hole is worth 1 point, there are shot clocks, 40 seconds per shot, or you get a penalty stroke. And the hammer? A tactical tool teams can use to double a hole's point value. Accept the hammer, play for 2 points, decline it, concede the hole. Listen, a lot of people complain that they couldn't understand Live Golf. I think it's pretty self-explanatory. But TGL, it still confuses me. But here's where things got interesting, and not always in a good way. Act 5, the problems. All right, let's talk about those full swing launch monitors. Tiger Woods has a financial stake in Full Swing Golf. He helped develop their products. He uses them at home, so naturally TGL uses Full Swing Golf equipment exclusively. 16 radar-based Full Swing kits track every shot, except they keep missing or misreading or just straight up lie about where the ball went. Week 5, Tommy Fleetwood hit what looks like a solid shot. The simulator just doesn't register it at all. The ball vanishes into the digital void. Fleetwood standing there like, did I just hit a ghost ball? Tiger Woods, 15-time major champion, arguably the greatest golfer ever, steps up with a 100-yard wedge shot. Pretty easy, except the simulator says he flew the greens by 30 yards. Tiger looked as confused as the rest of us. Colin Morikawa, a 105-yard approach shot, also massively missed. It doesn't make a lot of sense. Tom Kim, frustrated with his shot curving the wrong direction, actually says on camera, I don't think this thing knows what a fade is. Here's the issue. Full Swing is not TrackMan, it's not Foresight. Those are industry standards for accuracy camera-based systems that rarely miss. Full Swing uses radar-based technology. It's cheaper, more accessible, but apparently less reliable when you're broadcasting to 1 million people on national television. My Golf Spy, a respected golf equipment site, tested Full Swing against the GC Quad, the gold standard, and found measurements differed by as much as 50% in some cases. 50%. That's not a rounding error, that's totally broken and useless. But Tiger can't switch to a better technology because he owns part of Full Swing, which means TGL is stuck with simulators that players don't fully trust. Fans mock regularly on social media, and critics use as ammunition to suggest this whole thing is a vanity project for Tiger's business interests. Then there's the courses themselves. Virtual golf holes designed by world-class course designers. Should be exciting, right? Volcano hazards, water features that don't exist in real life, impossible bunkers, golden tee on steroids. I love that game. Except they weren't. Reviews consistently criticized the courses for being too realistic, too much like actual golf courses. People wanted fantasy. They got Pebble Beach Indoor Edition. One review described the atmosphere as forced and cringe. Another said it felt more like watching friends at Topgolf than a professional sports league. The first match ended in a 9-2 blowout, not exactly riveting television. And the scoring? Confusing. Honestly, totally confusing. Even for die-hard golf fans. The hammer added complexity, unnecessary complexity in my opinion. The triples to singles transition felt jarring, and casual viewers tuning in for the first time were totally lost. Act 6, the ratings roller coaster. All right, let's talk numbers because this is where TGL Season 1 story gets really interesting. Week 1, 919,000 viewers, solid debut. Week 2, 1.05 million viewers, Tiger's debut, peak viewership. ESPN was thrilled. Week 3, 682,000 viewers, down 32%. There was no Tiger, there was no Rory, and suddenly people seemed to care less. But it kept dropping. By late February, just a month later, Monday doubleheaders on ESPN2 pulled in just 263,000 and 297,000 viewers respectively, the lowest of the season. The absolute bottom, 160,000 viewers for a Monday afternoon match at 3 p.m. Eastern between the Bay and Los Angeles on March 3rd. 160,000 people, that's roughly the population of Fort Lauderdale, watching indoor simulator golf on a Monday afternoon. The season average, 513,000 viewers per match. ESPN considered this a win because it was 21% better than the college basketball programming they'd replaced. ESPN pays TGL less than $10 million per year for broadcasting rights. For context, ESPN pays the NBA $2.7 billion annually, so this is peanuts to them. Here's the silver lining. Those 513,000 viewers were young for golf and engaged. 42% of TGL's audience came from the advertiser-coveted 18 to 45 demographic, comparable to the NBA. Traditional PGA Tour broadcasts skew much older, in the 60s. But the trend was undeniable. When Tiger and Rory played, people watched. When they didn't, viewership tanked. And here's the problem. Both of their teams, Jupiter Lynx, Tiger's team, and Boston Common Golf, Rory's team, didn't make the playoffs. They were eliminated in the regular season. The two co-founders, the faces of the league, the guys whose names are attached to everything, went home early. Act 7, the business model. Let's talk money because underneath all the tech and spectacle, TGL is a business and businesses need revenue. According to internal projections leaked in 2023, each TGL team was expected to break even in year 1, and by year 3, the teams would generate approximately $12.5 million in annual revenue. Revenue comes from 5 sources. 1, league-wide revenue sharing, $2.4 million per team in year 1, growing to $7.6 million by 2033. This includes media rights like ESPN, corporate partnerships, sports betting deals like FanDuel, and ticket sales. 2, team-specific sponsorships and licensing, $4.4 million in year 1, growing to $13.3 million by 2033. Teams can sell their own sponsorships, merchandise, create local events. 3, ownership equity. Each team holds 3% equity in the overall TGL venture, plus pro rata share of cash distributions. If TGL succeeds and expands, team values increase. 4, ticket sales. The SoFi Center holds 1,500 people. It's not massive, but ticket prices reportedly range from affordable to premium. It's a supplemental revenue stream, not a primary one. And 5, digital and social engagement. Teams with strong social media presence can monetize content, drive merchandise sales, and attract younger demographics. Now, let's talk about team valuations. When TGL sold its 6 inaugural franchises, they were marketed as valuable assets. Early projections suggested team values could rival MLS expansion franchises, $150 to $300 million. Reality? It's more complicated. The Los Angeles Golf Club, owned by Reddit co-founder Alex Ohanian and investors including Serena Williams, Venus Williams, and Michelle Wie West, recently secured a new investment from Illich Sports Entertainment at a valuation estimated around $90 million. That's solid, but that's not quite MLS territory. Earlier in 2025, a Dallas-based group reportedly paid over $70 million for an expansion franchise, Motor City Golf Club, set to launch in 2027. But here's the speculation that won't die. Some insiders whisper that teams were essentially given away to high-profile investors. The theory and the speculation? TGL needed celebrity owners for social media reach and credibility more than it needed cash. Steve Cohen, the Mets owner, Arthur Blank, Falcons owner, Fenway Sports Group, Red Sox, and Liverpool, these aren't people who need to be sold on investment opportunities. They're influence. Did they buy in, or were they courted with equity deals too good to refuse? We don't know for sure. Tomorrow's sports isn't publicly traded, so financials remain opaque. But what we do know is that TGL received enough money to value tomorrow's sports at $500 million. The PGA Tour holds an 18% equity stake worth roughly $90 million on paper then. That's serious institutional backing, but whether team owners actually made money depends on whether TGL survives long enough to become profitable. Act 8, the finish. Atlanta Drive GC won the inaugural championship. Justin Thomas, Billy Horschel, Patrick Cantlay, and Lucas Glover defeated New York Golf Club 2-1 in the best-of-3 finals. Both matches came down to the final hole. In the second match, down 3-0 with 4 holes to play, Atlanta rallied to win 4-3. Billy Horschel drilled a 17-foot birdie putt to seal it, and the crowd went wild. Tiger and Rory, watching from the sidelines, applauded. It was good television, genuinely exciting, proof that the format could work when the matches were close. But by that point, viewership had already cratered. The finals averaged decent numbers, but nothing close to opening week. The novelty had worn off. Act 9, the Season 2 reality check. December 28, 2025, Season 2 begins. The bold decision, launch on Sunday afternoon against NFL Week 17. And not on ESPN2, on ABC. It was a statement. We're ready for primetime. We're ready to compete with the big boys. The result? 646,000 viewers, down 30% from the Season 1 opener. The match peaked at 735,000 viewers, respectable for a golf broadcast against football, better than the PNC Championship at 560,000 views and the Grant Thornton Invitational at 450,000 views in similar Sunday slots. TGL immediately spun this as a huge win. But here's what they didn't say. Scheduling against the NFL was either incredibly bold or incredibly stupid, and early returns suggest the latter. Then came Week 2, January 2nd, 2026. Friday night, in prime time, Rory McIlroy's Boston Common Golf takes the floor against Los Angeles. Rory, the second biggest draw in the league after Tiger, finally gets his first win of Season 2. 354,000 viewers on ESPN2, a 45% drop from the season opener. A staggering 66% decline from when Tiger played in Week 2 of Season 1. Let's be clear, that's not just disappointing, that's alarming. The average of the first 2 Season 2 matches, 500,000 viewers, just under the Season 1 average of 513 viewers. PGL's PR team emphasized this: we're holding steady. But the context matters. Season 1 started high and crashed. Season 2 started lower and, well, we're about to find out if it crashes further. The third match of Season 2, Atlanta Drive versus the Bay on January 6th, continued without published ratings data. But industry observers noted a pattern. TGL's audience is extraordinarily sensitive to network placement, day of the week, and most critically, whether Tiger or Rory is playing. Which brings us to the elephant in the room. Act 10, the Tiger problem. Tiger Woods turned 50 in December 30th, 2025, 2 days after Season 2 began. He didn't play in the season opener or Week 2 or Week 3. On January 13th, 2025, his Jupiter Links Golf Club finally takes the virtual field against New York Golf Club. Tiger will be there, mic'd up, courtside, providing commentary, but he won't hit a shot. Why? Because he physically can't. Tiger had his 7th back surgery in October 2025, a disc replacement procedure. As of December 2025, doctors had only cleared him to chip and putt. He admitted recovery was going not as fast as he had hoped. I've got to hit more shots than just chip and putt in TGL, Tiger said in December. There's a few drives I might have to hit. Translation? I'm not ready. I don't know when I'll be ready. Maybe never. His Jupiter Links teammate, Justin Thomas, also can't play, recovering from his own back surgery. The team that's supposed to carry Tiger's name into battle is fielding substitutes. Akshay Bhatia fills in, making him the first left-hander to play in TGL history. Max Homa and Kevin Kistner round out the roster. Here's the math. Jupiter Links went 0-4 in Season 1 and didn't make the playoffs. They're starting the season without their 2 biggest stars. Their first match is against a stacked New York team, Ricky Fowler, Matt Fitzpatrick, Cameron Young, that destroyed them 10-3 in the last season. The early betting odds? New York minus 138, Jupiter Links plus 110. Underdogs at home. And the viewership question everyone's asking? Will Tiger's mere presence, not even playing, just talking, be enough to help the ratings? Because if the answer is no, TGL has a very serious problem. Act 11, the technology isn't fixed. Season 2 promised improvements. TGL upgraded the green zone. It's 38% larger now, 5,270 square feet, roughly the size of an actual PGA Tour green. There are 12 pin locations instead of 7, 2 enlarged bunkers with steeper walls. They upgraded Full Swing's game engine software. There are larger hitting boxes, adjustable sand trays, live shot tracing to track balls before they hit the screen, 79 cameras instead of however many they had before. The courses, more ambitious. 6 holes now feature custom backdrops representing each team's city. There's a hole called Stinger, inspired by Tiger's signature shot. Hit it low under 50 feet to get extra roll. There's Cenote, a 264-yard par 3 named after Yucatan sinkholes. And yes, they brought back the volcano, because why mess with success? But here's the question nobody's answering publicly. Did they fix the full swing accuracy issues? Because Tiger still has a financial stake in the company. TGL still uses Full Swing exclusively. And if Season 2 features the same embarrassing misreads, shots vanishing, distances wildly inaccurate, players visibly frustrated, the league's credibility will take another hit. Early matches haven't produced viral mishaps yet, but it's only been 3 weeks. The technology held up well enough in Season 1's opening matches too, before the problems became obvious. The real test comes when Tiger Woods finally plays again, because nothing would be more painful than watching the greatest golfer of all time, back from surgery, limited mobility, trying to prove he can still compete and have the simulator tell him that his perfect wedge shot went 30 yards long. Again. Act 2, the WTGL announcement. January 6, 2026, in the middle of Season 2's rocky start, TGL makes a major announcement. Women's TGL, WTGL, coming winter 2026-27. The LPGA and Tomorrow Sports partnered to create a women's version of the league, featuring LPGA Tour stars competing in the same SoFi Center. Same format, same tech-infused drama. LPGA Commissioner Craig Kessler, who took over in July 2025, embraced it immediately. Partnering with Tomorrow Sports on WTGL reflects our belief that innovation can help the game reach new fans and create greater visibility for LPGA athletes. Mike McCarley, TGL founder and CEO, since the launch of TGL a year ago, Tomorrow Sports has been putting the pieces in place to create a women's league featuring the best players in the world. Details, though, remain scarce. The number of teams to be determined. Which players to be determined. Team ownership in discussions. Alexis Ohanian, owner of TGL's Los Angeles Golf Club, publicly stated he has first right of refusal for a WTGL Los Angeles team. The announcement generated mixed reactions. Golf fans online immediately asked, why not integrate men and women? Why create a separate league when you can have mixed teams, mixed matches, true crossover events? The golf world has been begging for co-ed competition for years. McCarley's response, it's something we've thought about. It's something we've talked to a lot of different constituent groups about. I think we wanted to, first off, create a stage, a platform, a real showcase for the women's game. Translation? Maybe later, or never. We'll see. Critics weren't kind. Nobody watches the men's TGL, one analyst wrote, so they're setting the ladies up for a massive fail. Others pointed out TGL's Season 2 launch, with declining ratings and Tiger unable to play, was perhaps not the ideal moment to announce an expansion league that won't exist for another year. But here's the strategic play. WTGL gives TGL something to talk about beyond disappointing viewership. It shows growth, it demonstrates long-term vision, it gets the LPGA on board, institutional backing from another major golf organization. And if WTGL succeeds, if Nelly Korda or other LPGA stars prove that they can draw audiences in this format, then maybe, just maybe, the concept isn't the problem. Maybe it really is just about star power and marketing. Or maybe WTGL becomes Exhibit B in why simulator golf, no matter how well produced it is, can't sustain a professional sports league. Only time will tell, and we'll check back in on it in late 2027. Act 13, what the critics are saying. Let's be honest about where the discourse stands on early 2026. Golf media is divided. The optimists say TGL averaged 500,000 viewers in its first 2 season matches, right around the Season 1 average. It's holding steady, it's beating other golf programming in similar time slots. For a startup league in its second year, those numbers are respectable. The format works when matches are close, technology is improving, and the 18 to 49 demographic is fairly engaged. Give it some time. The pessimists say Season 2 opened down 30% from Season 1's debut. Rory McIlroy, one of golf's biggest stars, drew only 354,000 viewers, a 66% drop from Tiger's Season 1 appearance. The league is extraordinarily dependent on Tiger, who can't play anymore. It scheduled its opener against the NFL, which is either arrogant or desperate. The technology still has credibility issues, and now they're launching the WTGL before proving the men's league even works. This is a slow motion failure. The realists say TGL isn't dying, it isn't thriving, it's in limbo. The ratings show people will watch it when it's convenient, say it's on ABC on a Sunday afternoon, and when star power is involved, let's say Tiger or Rory are playing. But audience loyalty is exceptionally weak. Fans tune in when they stumble across it, but they're not seeking it out. ESPN pays less than $10 million annually, pocket change compared to real sports rights for real sports. Unless viewership stabilizes or grows, this doesn't become a sustainable business. One Golf Monthly headline captured it perfectly. Early TGL ratings show alarming drop-off from last year. My Golf Spy, which tested the full swing technology and found it very wanting, noted that TGL is off to a rough start as ratings decline. Outkick.com went harder. Ratings show nobody is watching TGL Golf League, and its latest announcement surely won't change that. Even sympathetic coverage from Golf.com included this telling detail. TGL seems more sensitive than most golf leagues to schedule and broadcast location. Fans enjoy watching the league when they can find it conveniently, but they haven't developed the emotional connection to the league to prove sticky across many networks. That's the problem in one sentence. No emotional connection, no stickiness. People watch when Tiger plays, they watch when it's on a major network during a convenient time, but they don't care enough to seek it out on ESPN2 on a Friday night. And you can't build a league on that. Act 14, the expansion paradox. Here's what makes TGL's current situation fascinating. They're expanding. Motor City Golf Club, representing Detroit, joins in 2027 as the 7th team. Tomorrow Sports filed trademarks for Texas Golf Club and Chicago Lynx Golf Club. More teams are coming, more investors are buying in. On paper, it looks like growth, and this looks like success. But is it? Consider, teams are being valued at $70 to $90 million. That's real money, but that valuation depends on TGL becoming profitable, which depends on viewership growing, or at least stabilizing, which depends on Tiger Woods, who isn't playing. So you have new investors betting $70 million on a league that's 2 years old, declining in ratings, technologically unreliable, and dependent on a 50-year-old man with 7 back surgeries who's cleared to chip and putt only. Either these investors know something we don't, or they're making a very expensive mistake. Or third option, they're really not betting on TGL. They're betting on getting cheap access to Tiger, Rory, and the Tomorrow Sports ecosystem. The team itself might lose money, but the connections, the social media reach, the association with high-profile athletes, maybe that's worth $70 million, even if it's coming out of their marketing budget. It's the same logic that drove Live Golf. Losing money is fine if you're buying influence, prestige, and access. But TGL isn't backed by the Saudi Public Investment Fund. It's backed by Dynasty Equity, private investors on the PGA Tour's 18% stake. At some point, those investors, they need a return. And right now, the returns are looking questionable at best. Act 15, the critical inflection point. We're at a fascinating moment in TGL's story. Season 2 is just 4 matches in. 12 regular season matches remain, plus playoffs in late March. Tiger's Jupiter Lynx just played their first match on January 13th against New York. Early reports suggest Tiger's presence, even without playing, generated some interest. The match was on ESPN on a Tuesday night at 7 p.m. Eastern, and industry observers were watching closely. Would ratings spike just from Tiger being in the building? If yes, TGL has a lifeline. Maybe Tiger doesn't even need to play. Maybe his voice, his insights, his mere existence is enough to drive viewership. He could become the John Madden of TGL, a commentator who transcends the sports. If not, TGL has a crisis. Because if Tiger is on the sidelines and can't move the needle, and Tiger playing is no longer possible, then what's left? Rory McIlroy pulling in 354,000 viewers on a Friday night? That's not a business model, that's a vanity project. Here's what we know for certain as of January 13th, 2026. The good? TGL completed a full season. It exists, it survived. Season 2 launched and is ongoing. No collapse, no cancellation. Corporate sponsors remain. SoFi, Genesis, Best Buy, Samsung, KPMG, and FanDuel. Team valuations are around $70 to $90 million, and they show continued investor interest. The format produces exciting finishes when matches are competitive. TGL demonstrates institutional backing from the LPGA. Motor City Golf Club expansion for 2027 shows some growth. Act 16, the YouTube question, why TGL chose the wrong platform. Here's the question nobody at TGL seems to be asking. Why are they on television at all? Let's talk about YouTube Golf, because while TGL is celebrating 646,000 viewers on ABC and 354,000 viewers on ESPN2, there's an entire universe of golf tent thriving on a platform that they have completely ignored. There are YouTube numbers that should terrify TGL. Rick Shields has 2.9 million subscribers. He averages 7.2 million views per month. That's roughly 287,000 views per video. His estimated monthly revenue from YouTube ads alone is about $12,000 to $36,000, and that doesn't include sponsorship, which likely add hundreds of thousands more. Bryson DeChambeau has 2.4 million subscribers. He averages over 1.2 million views per video. His Breaking 50 series routinely pulls in millions of views. According to recent analysis, at 20 million monthly views with $3 CPM, Bryson's YouTube channel could generate $800,000 annually from ads alone before the brand partnerships. Good has 2 million subscribers, averaging 545,000 views per video, nearly double what Rick Shields averages despite having fewer subscribers. Their Good Cup Major, 1.69 million views in 9 days. Their estimated monthly earnings, $29,000 to $87,000 just from YouTube ads. Grant Horvath has over 1 million subscribers. He averages almost 500,000 views per video. He's growing fast enough that industry analysts predict he'll be one of the biggest golf creators within 3 years. Now compare this to TGL. TGL season opener, 646,000 viewers. Rory McIlroy's week 2 performance, 354,000 viewers. Season 1 low point, 160,000 viewers. Here's what's wild. Good's average video gets more views than TGL's second biggest match of season 2. Bryson DeChambeau's average video gets nearly double TGL's peak viewership. And these YouTube creators are doing it without a $500 million valuation, without a custom-built arena, without ESPN, and without Tiger Woods. Want to know how badly traditional golf broadcasts are getting crushed? The PGA Tour's YouTube channel averages 85,000 views per video. Live Golf, backed by billions in Saudi money, averages 86,000 views per video. Good averages 545,000 views. Rick Shields averages 287,000 views. Grant Horvath averages 490,000 views. YouTube golf creators are pulling in 6 times the viewership of actual professional tours, and it gets worse for traditional media. According to one analysis, the Good Golf channel has more subscribers than the official PGA Tour channel. YouTube Golf isn't competing with the PGA Tour, it's winning. Let's break down why simulator golf, the exact format TGL is using, thrives on YouTube but struggles on television. Number 1, the format is wrong for TV appointment viewing. Television viewers want people to show up at a specific time. You miss the broadcast, too bad. YouTube, watch whenever you want. Pause it, come back later, fast forward through the boring parts. The content adapts to your schedule, not the other way around. TGL's matches last about 2 hours. On TV, that's a commitment. On YouTube, that's perfect binge content for a Saturday morning or a slow evening. 2, the scale doesn't translate. TGL built a $50 million arena with 1,500 fans screaming and a 5-story screen. Impressive in person. On your TV at home, it looks like any simulator. You can't feel the scale. You can't experience the arena atmosphere. The entire production is designed for a live experience that 99.999% of viewers will never have. Rick Shields films in a simulator bay with a GC quad. Bryson films in his backyard. Good films at public courses and simulators. The production is simple, relatable, and here's the key. It looks exactly the same on your screen as TGL's multi-million-dollar setup. So why spend $50 million building an arena when your viewers can't tell the difference? 3, personality over production. YouTube Golf works because viewers connect with the creators. Grant Horvath's nervous energy, Bryson's analytical intensity, Good 6 friends having fun dynamic, Rick Shields' everyman charm. TGL has professional golfers hitting shots in a warehouse. They're mic'd up, sure, but the format is still match play, still structured, still professional. YouTube Golf is casual, conversational, fun, and authentic. Viewers feel like they're hanging out with friends, not watching a sporting event. People say what's on their minds, not thinking, hey, this is still a professional event, I've got to reel it in. 4, the economics are insane. Here's where it gets really interesting. TGL receives $500 million, they built a $50 million arena, and ESPN is paying them $10 million a year. Let's do the math on what TGL could be making if they launched on YouTube instead. Assume TGL launches on YouTube, posts one match per week, each match averages 500,000 views, which is their current TV average. At $3 CPM, their per video revenue would be about $1,500. Their annual revenue over 52 videos would be about $78,000. While that seems terrible compared to ESPN's $10 million per year, but hold on, that's just ad revenue. Now add brand integration, clubs, clothing, training aids, merchandise like Good Goods team jerseys, hats, accessories, super chats, and memberships. The teams could live stream, collect some revenue that way, get fan support, and licensing and media sales. The content they create becomes a library that generates revenue indefinitely. Total potential YouTube revenue? Probably in the range of $8 to $10 million annually, with much lower overhead costs. Now factor in what they'd save. There's no need for a $50 million arena, no need for a 1,500 seat venue, no need to coordinate with ESPN's broadcast schedule, no pressure to deliver specific ratings to justify a TV deal. They could build the audience organically instead of fighting NFL ratings. And they could have a proof of concept before scaling up. Here's the kicker. If TGL had launched on YouTube first, they could have tested the format with a fraction of the investment, built an audience organically without a collapsed roof delay, pivoted quickly based on what content worked, proven demand before asking investors for $500 million, and scaled to TV once they demonstrated that the concept did work. Instead, they bet $500 million on a format that has never been tested. They built an arena that collapsed and launched directly on national television, where any stumble would be public and embarrassing. It's the exact opposite of how modern media companies build. You start small, prove the concept, then scale. TGL started at maximum scale and is now discovering that maybe they should have tested it first. But here's why they didn't choose YouTube. Legacy thinking. Tiger Woods and Rory McIlroy came of an age when television was the pinnacle, when appearing on ESPN meant you'd made it, when traditional sports meant broadcast networks and cable deals. They're approaching TGL the way professional sports leagues have always been built. Big broadcast deals, exclusive rights, appointment viewing. But that model is dying. ESPN is hemorrhaging subscribers, losing 7 million in 2025 alone, down 25 million since 2013. The network paid $113 billion for sports rights through 2033, while losing subscribers at a rate of 18,000 per day. Compare that to YouTube, which added over 2 billion users and is the second most visited website on the planet, where golf content thrives, where creators are making millions, where audiences are young and engaged. TGL chose the sunset instead of the sunrise. And here's the most damning comparison. Live Golf, Saudi Arabia's breakaway golf league with functionally unlimited money, has tried both approaches. Their broadcast deal with Fox pulled in 484,000 viewers at the peak. Their YouTube channel averages 86,000 views per video. But here's the thing. Good produces content featuring amateur golfers, handicaps between 3 and 15, and it averages over 500,000 views per video. They're beating a league that features major champions, that paid Bryson $150 million, that has infinite Saudi money behind it. The lesson? Production value doesn't matter. Star power barely matters. What matters is format, personality, and the platform. TGL has the wrong format, too structured. Questionable personality delivery, professional athletes who aren't natural content creators, and the wrong platform, dying cable television instead of the growing YouTube platform. Now, could TGL pivot to YouTube now? Technically, sure. Upload season 2 matches to YouTube, build an audience, prove the concept works in digital. But they can't because they're locked into an ESPN contract, because their entire business model depends on team valuations that require TV legitimacy. Because admitting YouTube should have been the strategy from the start would be admitting a $500 million mistake. So TGL is stuck. They're on ESPN, getting 354,000 viewers for Rory McIlroy, while Rick Shields films a video in a simulator bay and gets 300,000 views without Tiger, without Rory, without a $50 million arena. And let me be clear, it's not that TGL is failing, but to me, it's clear that they built the wrong business in the wrong place at the wrong time. And YouTube Golf is proving it every single week. Act 17, the verdict. So where does TGL stand as we enter the heart of season 2? Billy Horschel, Atlanta Drive champion, remains optimistic. I think for a new startup, we've been very successful. You look at the viewership for the entirety of the year, somewhere around 600,000 to 800,000 per match, which is unbelievable. He's not wrong. For a 2-year league competing in a crowded sports landscape, averaging 500,000 plus viewers per match is respectable. But TGL was never supposed to be just respectable. It was supposed to be revolutionary. Tiger and Rory's vision was bold: reimagine golf for the 21st century, make it faster, more accessible, more entertaining, bring in younger audiences, build a sustainable league that could stand alongside traditional golf. 2 years in, here's what they've actually built: a league that can draw decent audiences when stars play on major networks during convenient time slots, but struggles to maintain viewership on cable or secondary networks. A league that completed 1 full season and started a second, but saw ratings decline from year 1 to year 2. And a league backed by major investors and corporate sponsors, but paying less than $10 million annually from its primary broadcast partner. It's not a failure, but it's not a success. It's a very expensive experiment whose outcome remains uncertain. The technology doesn't fully work. The star power is limited and aging. The audience shows interest but not loyalty. Expansion continues, but profitability remains very distant. And most critically, the man whose vision and celebrity built this entire enterprise can barely walk 18 holes anymore, let alone compete. So what's the verdict? Well, you'll probably have to check back in a year. We'll know by then whether TGL is the future of golf or just an expensive footnote in Tiger Woods' incredible career. For now, the experiment continues. The screens are on, the greens are rotating, the hammers are flying. And somewhere in Palm Beach Gardens, Florida, in a building designed to withstand Category 5 hurricanes, the future of golf, or at least one version of it, is playing out in real time. Will you be watching? Based on the ratings, probably not. But maybe we should.